Hi there to all my YouTube followers. Thank you for following my dreams too. So, because I was asked, I will update on the drama that happened. I have taken the video down, yes, because of all the negativity with it. I went ahead and deleted the video. And at the same time of the negativity, I've also heard from a lot of people saying that it was uncalled for what people were saying. The video was literally just me making a joke that I was going to clean my kids' room because I've asked them for a couple weeks now to clean their room up and they haven't done it. And so I went in there and I cleaned it up. And so I was just making a video of it, saying that I had asked them and they hadn't. So now I get to have the fun of doing it myself. And I had so many comments of people saying that I needed CPS called on me because my kid's room was dirty. Now, let me remind you, the dirty was toys on the floor, a couple dirty clothes that needed picked up, and my daughter draws all over the walls, which we own the house, so we don't really care. When they get a lot older, we're just going to buy paint and paint over it. Honestly, when they get older, we're just going to get that chalk paint and we're going to paint the walls with that. The only reason we haven't done it yet is because that paint is kind of expensive, especially the amount that we would need for their room. And so we just haven't done it yet. So we let her color all over the walls with crayons, markers, and it's the same way in the living room. Just in the living room, we usually put a poster or something up over it, and she hasn't done that in a long time. It was when she was really little that she did in the living room. Now it's just her bathroom and the bedroom. So that was the dirty. Now I can understand if it was something like animal mess, or moldy food or something like that. I could understand people's comments of saying, that I needed my kids taken away from me because of a dirty room. But that's not what it was. It was toys on the floor, some dirty clothes, and drawing on the wall. And it wasn't inappropriate drawings or anything like that because my little girl is the one that did it, and my son draws some of them. It was kids' cartoon characters, dinosaurs, and just scribbles. They don't like the white walls, and so they color on them. And like I said, we own the place, so we don't care. So it was nothing inappropriate or anything like that. And the biggest thing that got me was people saying that I should lose my kids because their room was dirty. And that floored me because do you really think it's necessary to take somebody's kids away from them just because they don't keep their room completely spotless? Or saying that it was my responsibility to keep their room clean. Yes, as their mother, it is. But I give my kids their privacy. I don't go in their room and go through their stuff. I don't do anything like that because I don't have to worry about my kids getting into stuff that they're not supposed to. They know what they can and can't get into. So I never have to worry about that. I don't go through their stuff unless I go in there to help them clean their room if it gets out of hand, which is just a bunch of toys on the ground, and it's pretty much just they don't know where to start and they get overwhelmed with it. So sometimes all I have to do is just go and sit in the room and talk with them or play around or whatever, and the room gets cleaned up. It's just because they have a spot to start in. And so that anybody that follows my stuff knows that I have anxiety and I have depression. So comments like that really, really got to me. Because my kids are everything to me. And yes, I used to every day I would go in the room and I would clean it up. And a couple years ago, I stopped doing that because they got old enough to clean up their own messes. Because if I do it for them their whole life, then when they get older, they're not going to know how to clean up after themselves. And for the most part, they do keep it pretty clean. We've had a lot going on here lately, and so they just haven't really been doing it. Uh, and so they just needed somebody to help them clean the room up. And it was a harmless video, but I had so many comments of people saying how I was a bad mother because my kids' room was dirty, because honestly they are extremely spoiled, so they have entirely too many toys, and they don't always put them up where they go. They're 8 and 9 years old. They're kids. I'm not overly strict with my kids. Unless they're doing something that hurts themselves or others, I let them be kids. And apparently that makes me a bad mother. And so that's the drama of what happened, and more context to me being upset, saying thank you to people that have nothing better to do than downgrade somebody. And it really got to me, of people saying that because my kids having toys on the floor. And honestly, the toys they have in their room is not even all. They have way too many toys, to the fact that we store a lot of them in a storage building, just because they are that spoiled and they have too many toys. Uh, and so, yeah, sometimes the room gets a little dirty, but I still don't think that that means that I should lose my kids because their room is a little dirty. Um, so, yeah, I won't be posting stuff like that anymore, um, because I'm not going to deal with it. And me personally, I thought it was just something that was funny. And I'd seen videos of other people post pretty much the same thing I did. And if they get the same backlash that I got, I feel bad for them. And I hope that they don't take it to heart and they know that they are amazing parents. Just because your kid's room is dirty doesn't mean you're a bad parent. It doesn't mean you should lose your kids. Let them play. Let them be a kid. As long as it's nothing that's hurting them, let them be a kid. Why should my kids be raised only hearing yelling and fussing? And I mean, I've had people say that I have a bad marriage because me and my husband don't fight. And we don't. We've been together for 9.5 years now, and we don't fight. In 9.5 years, we have had one big fight, and honestly, you can't really even call it a fight. It was literally, I stayed here in the house, and the kids stayed with me sometimes, and Michael went and stayed at his mom's house. And that was the extent of the fighting. He stayed over there, I stayed here. We calmed down, we talked. And I mean, I have people tell me all the time that I have a bad relationship because we don't fight. And the reason that we don't is because we don't want our kids raised around the fighting and thinking that's okay. Um, yeah, everybody has their problems, and I'm not saying my marriage is perfect because it's not. We just don't fight. If we have a disagreement, we both just go our separate ways, wait until we cool down, and we can have a adult conversation, not yelling and screaming and hollering and all that other stuff. And we don't show that to the kids. We don't want them around that. If we're out somewhere and there are adults that are fighting, we'll take the kids the other way, just because that's not something that we want them to think is okay. Um, that's not how you solve problems. And saying something in the heat of the moment is the worst thing that you can do because you can't take it back. And, especially knowing that I have anxiety and depression. And so saying the wrong thing is not something that would just be a short time effect for me. It's something that affects me for years at a time. I mean, there's still stuff that affects me to this day that my biological father and his wife did. And it's been almost 12 years since I lived with them. And there's times that I still break down crying because of it. So if people think that I have a bad relationship just because we don't fight, then I feel bad for you. And I hope that one day you can find a love as strong as mine. Because, I mean, I'm glad we don't. And especially, I mean, I fight with migraines too. And so I don't like yelling to start with. So, no, I don't yell at my kids. No, I don't bust my kids' butts. And I get a lot of backlash off of that. Because I don't bust my kids' butts. Neither does my husband. They get in trouble different ways, meaning that if they do something that is more than just a, hey, don't do that, they get grounded, or they will lose something that they really like their favorite toy. They'll lose it for a period of time. And once they earn it back, they get it back. Fighting between each other, me and my sisters fought all the time. And my dad's solution to me and my sisters fighting is go outside. Go fight outside, not in the house. And honestly, there's been times that we'll just tell our kids, go out on the land. There's all this land out here. Y'all don't want to play together? Go on different parts of the land. There's more than enough out here. Or we'll just, hey, go to separate rooms, sit down and calm down. It doesn't require yelling. It doesn't require fighting or hitting. And that's how my kids are raised. That nothing requires yelling or fighting or arguing over or throwing or hitting. There's no problem that requires that. If you're irritated with somebody, stay quiet, go into a different place from them, or do something different from what they're doing, calm down, and when you're both calmed down, then you talk about it. Then you see what was bothering each other so that you know how to solve the problem. And their punishment, like I said, is either getting grounded or take away a favorite toy for a period of time. As far as chores go, the only chores my kids have is keep the room clean, which I don't really enforce that a whole lot because that half of the house, that's the kids. That's their room, that's their bathroom, that's their area, and I don't really go back there. And they get that half of the house to themselves. And so we give them that privacy to have their freedom to do what they need to do. And I mean, apparently that makes me a bad mother, that I'm not like eagle eye hawked watching my kids all the time. I give them freedom to play and have fun.
Go outside.
But it just floors me that people say I'm a bad mom because I don't yell at my kids, I don't hit my kids, I don't spank my kids, and I give them a lot of freedom, and they are very spoiled. They have more stuff than most. And I know that's not something that they understand now, but once they get older, it's something that I hope they will start to understand more of, that they are very blessed on what they have. They have more than I did. And I mean, it's heartbreaking to me that people think I'm a bad mom because I'm not overly strict. I don't bust their butts. I don't yell at them. I don't raise my voice. I mean, they don't have bare minimal things in their room, and so their room gets dirty sometimes. But That's all I'm going to say on this. I just wanted to give an update of the drama for the few people that were asking. Uh, Thanks again. Have a great day. And thank you to all of my subscribers.